Another team with high expectations, LSU. You back on the train, folks? Top 5 team week 1. Didn't look like it against Florida State and Orlando. But they go to Starkville, and it was a trap takeover. That's what it was. They took over that city and did it early. You know you're going to hear those cowbells. Those cowbells stopped ringing after the first quarter. At halftime, it was 24-7. If you look at snapshots of how the game progressed, the box score, the yardage for both teams, oh my goodness, it was like varsity against freshmen. Mississippi State just looked incompetent. And LSU made them look incompetent. And LSU showed you why I thought they could win the SEC West preseason and why all of you should be back in that belief right now. This LSU team showed you exactly why they can win the SEC West and maybe, just maybe, win the SEC. Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. They went to your local dive bar, and this is what they were doing. They were on that dartboard, just boop, 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 all night long. All afternoon long in Starkville. How about these connections here? Daniels and Neighbors, passer, receiver, hooked up on a 32-yard connection, 26-yard touchdown connection, 33-yard touchdown, 48-yard pass, 45-yard pass as well. How many is that? 5 explosive passing plays. Some of those on 3rd down, some of those on 4th down. That one touchdown in particular where it's all or nothing. You're catching this ball for a touchdown or the ball's going back to Mississippi State. These guys were on another level, and I can only imagine what it's like in practice. This is probably what it's like, mainly because LSU's secondary is a little weak, at least has been so far, and then also because Malik Neighbors is an NFL receiver. He is your go-to receiver. This is how every game should go. He should get 10-plus targets. Jaden Daniels' first look on a play, his hot read, should be to Malik Neighbors, and it was in this game. And if they continue to do that, what can't this offense do? What defense can stop this offense? Neighbors is a playmaker. Some of these balls, your average receiver will not catch. But Malik Neighbors is different. He climbs the ladder and comes down with these footballs. He gets open on the short routes and gets yards after the catch. 13 receptions, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns. Career numbers, career performance. This was the Malik Neighbors game. Hopefully he has more of these, but if this is the best game he ever has at LSU, this was the Malik Neighbors game right here. Unbelievable stuff. And then Daniels, he had a career game as well. A lot of people asked post-game, was this the best game of Jaden Daniels' career? I say so without a doubt. In fact, it was one of the best performances by an LSU quarterback in the entire program's history. 30 of 34, 88% completion percentage. That is the highest completion percentage by an LSU quarterback of at least 25 pass attempts ever. And who saw that coming? I certainly didn't. I thought MSU would cover the 9-point spread in this game. Thinking back to that Orlando game, how many deep downfield shots did this offense take? Maybe 1 or 2. One of those was in garbage time to Brian Thomas against FSU's backup defense. And so I asked Jaden Daniels after the game, basically, why couldn't you do this against Florida State? Where was this in that game in Orlando? And he said, you know what? I wish we would have taken more shots. I wish we would have done this. Because as you can see, Mississippi State's a solid defense. I talked about it going into the game. Probably top half defense in the SEC. Like, they're no slouches. This isn't Grambling State, no disrespect, but this was an actual opponent with real athletes and a pretty solid defense. And these plays were working. There's no reason why they couldn't have done this against Florida State. So he said that was a learning experience. So what they learned from that game, they used in this game. And they're going to use in every other game going forward, because here's something I want to do here. I want to compare this performance to what Texas did when they beat Alabama. Because if you want to win the SEC West, right now it's looking like an LSU and Alabama race for the top. A&M's, they lost to Miami. I'm kind of down on them right now. And I don't really see another challenger for LSU and Alabama. So here's how you're going to beat Alabama from an offensive standpoint. Quinn Ewers and Xavier Worthy, Texas's quarterback and wide receiver 1. They connected on a 44-yard deep shot one-on-one touchdown. A.D. Mitchell, another receiver on Texas. He had a 32-yard reception and a 39-yard touchdown reception to put that game away, make it 34-24, which was the final score. Texas winning, of course. J.T. Sanders, the flex tight end on this Texas team, had a 34-yard reception and a 50-yard reception that led to a touchdown. What is that? 5 explosive passing plays, all resulting in points, all moving the ball down the field. That's how you're going to beat a team like Alabama. You're going to take some shots. You have to have the ability to take those shots, and then you got to hit on those shots. So that's what LSU did in this game against Mississippi State. That's what they'll have to do moving forward against really every SEC defense they play, like Arkansas coming up next, but really Alabama, because that's going to be the SEC West Divisional Championship, in my opinion. You win that game, you win the division, and maybe you can win the whole SEC. We'll have that conversation again later, but if you're thinking about how to go about thinking about this Mississippi State game and what it means from a larger perspective, that's it right there. LSU showed you the recipe for how to win the SEC West. They've got the ingredients. Now, can they put it into the cooking bowl and cook up that recipe and win that division title? That's the biggest question. Was this an anomaly? Or is this the consistent thing we're going to see week after week? Jaden Daniels making throws, Malik Neighbors getting open, and these two guys just fueling this LSU offense to massive performances and big wins in situations when they need to get wins. So I was blown away by LSU's offense in this game. Haven't seen Jaden Daniels really play like this consistently, like from quarter 1 to quarter 4 ever in his career. But we finally did in Starkville. And LSU's now 2-1. The excitement is building back up with this team, as it should be. And if the offense brings this kind of intensity, energy, and efficiency into every game, there is no reason why they can't win the SEC West and knock off Alabama and Tuscaloosa.